welcome to The Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UKOCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for The Swift Half.
You're listening to the 42nd most popular podcast for people who understand the answer to the question of life, universe and everything.
Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half again. How are you?
I'm happy, Alan. How are you?
I'm absolutely over the moon. As always, Ian, I'm absolutely over the moon. Things are good. My voice is back a little bit, which is always good as well. Still not feeling right. Still testing negative for COVID. And yeah. Oh, guess what, though? Guess what I did?
What did you do?
I had 3 days off work sick.
Oh, that's fine. Don't you get, paid time and a half for taking sick days in your line of work?
I wish I didn't. That's the first day sick I've had in 12 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. My sickness record, my boss was shocked when he looked back at my sickness record and said 12 years. That's unbelievable, yeah. So no sickness in 12 years. It's crazy.
I can't remember the last time I was sick. I remember maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. By sick, I mean taking a day off work. Been sick since then. But 5, 6, 7 years ago, I might have been sick, but I took it off as holiday because my work used to allow you to do that. Because if you don't work, you don't get paid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I would probably took it as holidays, but I get paid. I didn't know this, but I get up to 6 months full pay.
It's up to 6 months.
Up to 6 months full pay. And then it goes down to half pay for 6 months. Then they just get rid of you.
That's a nice way to retire, isn't it? So when you, in a few years' time, Alan, just go off sick for a year and that's it.
Yeah. I was thinking, why didn't I take longer off when my boss said, because I don't even know what our sick policy is. You know, there's these things now called triggers or something. I don't know if you have them, but apparently if I have 12 days off work in a rolling 12 months or 3 separate occasions, I hit some type of trigger, which means that I've got to go into a room and someone's going to give me a telling off.
I think it's called the Bradford factor or something like that. It's a silly thing whereby if you take 2 weeks off, it's actually seen as being better than taking 5 days off, not consecutively.
Don't know if it's good or bad. Like I say, I've never had sickness on. I'm not worried. He just said to me, you can't have no more than 9 more days off in the next 12 months. I was like, well, I'm not really going to have any days off unless I have. So, yeah.
So he said that, even though you could actually take 6 months off.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I take 6 months off, then that'd be cool.
Do you get longer in the room being told off?
Probably longer, mate. Yeah, that was it. Just going to tell me off. My boss is just going to tell me off. I want to be told off by him. I'm actually tempted just to take time off, just to see if he'll tell me off. Because I'm not a kid, really, am I?
Oh, but what happens if you take another 8 days off and then you miss, say, 6 hours and then you pop in for the last hour?
that would discombobulate him. That would discombobulate me.
Yeah. Or you do that during the 8 days. You just come in and work random hours. And then when we try and take you in, you can say, well, I wasn't off for 12 whole days.
Yeah, I just came in. I've only had 11 days and 3 hours.
Exactly. Should we move away from the sick day thing? Because we're making light of something that if you are ill from work, listener, take time off work. Work is not worth it. No job is.
No. I felt much better having 3 days off. Got to admit it. So, feeling back up to it. I even signed up for some races while I was off, Ian.
Right. So having paid sick days didn't actually help you because you just spent the money.
I certainly did. Yeah, just something. I'll tell you what races I'll pay for in a bit. But first of all, I want to know, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, Alan, I'm sure long-time listeners of the show will be happy to know the Tesco that I go to for my meal deal has stocked a new drink I can drink.
A new drink? So we're off the Prime, we're off the Fanta, we're on something completely new.
Orangina.
Oh, I love the Orangina.
When was the last time you saw Orangina?
Didn't it used to be in some strange bottle of some kind at one stage?
Did a strange glass bottle, if you remember. It always used to be glass. You always had to tap it or do something to it to make it, well, basically to remove the horrible sediment from the bottle, but they pretended like, oh, it awakens the taste. No, it doesn't. It just stops that little bit of growth at the bottom. But anyway, whatever they have to tell you to make you do what you're supposed to do. But yeah, you know what? It's still as good as ever.
And did you have to shake this up or anything like that? Was it?
Well, I was reading the bottle to see whether or not it told you to, and it doesn't, but I shook it anyway.
Good, better be safe than sorry. Better to be safe
It
than sorry.
is. Alan, what are you on?
Well, I actually am on Beck's actual lager tonight. I'm actually drinking Beck's. I'm showing you it in because our listeners can't see it, but I'm actually drinking Beck's lager. I just fancied a beer tonight. It's a little bit early recording tonight, isn't it? So I thought, why not have a beer if we're recording early? So yeah. But talking about meal deals, I saved nearly £14 on Wednesday this week on my meal deal.
What on earth did you buy?
Well, I'm from Yorkshire. Everyone knows that. Yeah, I am a little bit tight. Yeah, but I splashed the boat out on Valentine's Day. No, I didn't take her for a meal to a fancy restaurant. Marks and Spencer's Valentine's meal.
Okay, so you save 14 quid on what did you get?
So we bought lobster and king prawn starter. Then we had lamb shanks and some potatoes, and followed up by, I think it was profiteroles, but it was £25. But if you'd have bought it all separate, it'd have been 39.
Did you decide what to eat just based on what it said on the shelf edge? So I had been another starter, which was slightly cheaper. It was no, we're having the lobster.
Of course. Isn't that what you're doing, a meal deal?
Yeah, I guess it is. Did you get a bottle of bubbly too?
We got some porn star martinis, and we got 4 of them as well. A little box of porn star martinis, or 4 of them.
What type of meal is this that delivers 4 drinks? What were they expecting you to do?
Well, I'm thinking, meal and then 4 porn star martinis. They must have been thinking it was some type of gathering with a fishbowl.
Gathering with a fishbowl, I guess. And younger listeners, you won't get the reference. Don't go and ask your mum and dad. Please don't go and ask your mum and dad.
No.
So, Alan, what's been happening?
So races. My Tough Mudder season pass came through. So as long-time listeners know, I've got a big Tough Mudder tattoo on my leg, and every year I get my season plus pass. So that came through this weekend. So I've signed up for all my Tough Mudders, which is not a lot this year, actually. I've gone ETM, one down, one in the Midlands on the Sunday, and I am going to Northwest, I believe, to do Infinity. However, my first bit of news coming out today, Ian, may change what I'm doing at Northwest.
Okay. Do you want to give that news now, or do you want to carry on with what you...
No, I'm going to give it now. I'm going to give it now. Northwest, Tough Mudder Northwest, is going to be part of the UKOCR series.
How is that possible when it is a challenge, not a race?
Well, we are going to have a race. Tough Mudder are bringing back the race. The first wave is going to be a race. Not sure if it's going to be on the Saturday or the Sunday as of yet, but we're going to have a race. You have got to be a British Obstacle Sports member to actually run in the race, which is one of the prime criteria of being in the series. So you've got to be a series runner. And all runners, so we know it's expensive, don't we? We know it's expensive. However, I'm going to give James the credit here. James has negotiated a discount, and we are talking a huge discount. It's going to go out. So as you listen to this, it might actually be out. It's going to go out this weekend or early next weekend to British Obstacle Sports members. If you sign up, the discount, I believe, is going to be 30+% for just, and you've only got until the end of May to sign up for it.
30+%. So it might be 30%, it might be 30.5, might be 31%. We don't know, but it's more than 30%.
They've agreed 30 and we're pushing it a little bit more. James and me are trying to push it as much as we possibly can for our listeners and for our runners and for our followers. This is what it's about. You come up with a figure that they offer, and you ask for a little bit more, don't you?
That's true. Except when we're negotiating our sponsors, in which they offer us something, and then we give them more.
And then we give them more.
Yeah, it's X amount. I'll give you X amount for one show. Oh, we'll give you 3 shows for that.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we do.
That's what we absolutely have done. Yes. I've got questions.
Go on.
Is it going to be chip timed?
Yes.
Are there going to be modifications for those obstacles which you need friends to get over?
Yes.
Will I have to complete Funky Monkey?
Yes.
Oh well, there's me gone.
Oh, there's going to be penalties. So we're going to have officials. We're going to have bibs. So that's one thing we're talking about now. That there are going to be bibs for British Obstacle Sports members who are going to run it. I think it's potentially going to be on the Saturday, chip time, because that is what Infinity's on the Saturday, and Infinity's chip timed. So it can be run at the same time as Infinity.
That makes sense. Will there be potential for people to double up? So if they've got an Infinity ticket already, could they pay extra and do the UKOCR wave, as I'm going to dub it, and then drop into Infinity? Or are we not sure at this point?
Not sure at this point, and a lot of little things like that have yet to be worked out. We will try our best. So if someone's doing that and wants to race that first lap as hard as they can, then reach out to us and we'll see what we can do. But let's get the fine print down first, which should be done as this goes out. But I wanted to break it in because I think it's amazing news that Tough Mudder's going to have a race again that's just a 1-lap race. It's a big thank you to them for supporting us.
No, it absolutely is. And I'll answer the questions that people are probably asking. Well, I'm going to get at the answers to these questions. If you have a season pass, no, I suspect that this is a special wave that you do have to pay with the 30% discount.
I'm not sure on that, but I don't think it will be. I think you'll be able to get onto it as long as you're a British Obstacle Sports member.
Okay, that makes sense. Because again, we probably have to clarify that Tough Mudder are doing this to support British Obstacle Sports. We really love them for doing it. But at the end of the day, they're also a business. So it would be nice if this encourages people to, I don't know, spend money on Tough Mudder stuff.
Yeah. And that's right. And it might get people who've never done a Tough Mudder. Some of the Becky did not do a Tough Mudder until last year, had she? I don't think.
No, I don't think. No, she had. She'd done the Tougher series. So it might bring back people like Becky who only did the competitive waves. Can we dub this the Tougherer? The
Tougherer, yeah. Chris Shipley's never done a Tough Mudder, I don't believe.
Yeah, I think Chris Shipley's no banned ever since it's become competitive.
That would be good. That would be good.
I'm kidding, Chris. I'm sure you can take part, but you do have to hold Will's camera all the way around.
All the way around. Yes. I think it's great news. Big well done to Tough Mudder for being part of it and that. And then I signed up for another race as well, Ian. So I've been negotiating with Body Hub quite recently, and the Beast time trial that they've got going down there. I've signed up for that. I'm going to go and do the Beast time trial the day after the awards, Ian. So as we do the awards on the Saturday, I'm going on the Sunday.
What time?
At 10 o'clock.
Oh, this is going to end really badly. I remember last time.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to be good, is it? I've actually asked, is there going to be buckets strategically placed on the course? And I've been told, well, vomit is biodegradable and there's bushes all around.
It would make for an interesting bucket carry.
It would make for an interesting bucket carry. But also giving a discount to anyone who's going to the awards or even wants to go down on that Sunday. So even if you're not going to the awards, you can go down on the Sunday. They're knocking £5 off the Beast ticket and they're knocking £5 off the pay and play. So I think £5 is, for pay and play is just £5 on that day and £10 if you want to run the Beast time trial.
Wow. So that's like a 50% discount and a 33% discount.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is super cool. How far away is the Beast from the venue?
I want to say within 30 minutes.
Okay. You want to say you're not completely sure, but we want to say.
It's close. I know it's very, very
It's close.
close. Yeah. And I know it's only 15, 20 minutes up the road from Nuclear Wild Forest, and the venue is only 10 minutes from Wild Forest. So I'm going to say
So,
we're that close.
yeah, so it's close. It's not like we've got you discount to Fit Body Farm in Scotland.
No, that's right. Which would be a good thing if we went to Scotland.
It would be an excellent thing, but not so good when you're down in Essex, I guess. No, Alan, well done. You've been negotiating discounts left, right, and centre.
Left, right, and centre. And oh, what else? Oh, ice tubs. You got. Do you know the immersion recovery discount that you got?
Yes.
If you go over there right now, Ian, they have got dry robes on their website for, drum roll please, 69 quid.
£69. I don't think even a kid's dry robe has ever been that cheap.
£69. As we record this now, £69. And I quickly put in your code, UKHXR15, and it knocked a discount off.
Gosh. Tell me you didn't go through with a transaction, though.
No, because I didn't, because I don't need one, but I was contemplating it.
Right. Well, if it works, it works. And if you don't want to use it, sure, they'll have words and they'll stop it being used. So go nuts. If you want a dry robe, if you have a few people who are listening to the show who don't yet own a dry robe, head over to Immerse Recovery. I think it's branded in Immerse Recovery, but does that really matter? Because lots of us have nuclear dry robes anyway. Well, I don't have a nuclear dry robe, Alan.
You don't have a nuclear dry robe.
Not anymore. The intern wore it at the 3K event.
Yeah.
And noticed it got long sleeve, zip up pockets, and has claimed it.
So the amazing nuclear dry robe that Nuclear was so kind enough to loan us for the awards last year, and then say, "Oh, yeah, okay, we don't want it back." Which massive thank you to them. They don't. You can't have it because the intern's got it.
The intern's got it, but it was a great Valentine's gift, I guess.
And this is a long sleeve one as well, Ian. So £69 for a long sleeve one. I'm just double checking it now, just making sure it's true, and it is. So yeah, that's pretty cool. What else have I got on the notes? Oh, one other thing. We're talking about immerse recovery. My new ICB tank arrived as well over the weekend. I've had fun trying to get that into my back garden for my new ice bath stroke plunge pool, yet to be built.
What's an ICB bath? Where did you get that from?
So an ICB tank is what you would get. So mine came with soap in it. It didn't have soap in it, but it had remnants of soap on it. So it's a big tank that they use to transfer liquids from one place to another. The big plastic things, they're 1 meter 20 by 1 meter 20 in every direction. So big cube, come in a metal cage. So very, very strong. Farmers tend to use them on fields. So they'll fill them with water and take them onto fields and open them up for the cows to drink out of, or the sheep and things like that. So, yeah.
Right, okay. And if you don't want to do what Alan did, go on to Immerse Recovery and use the discount code UKHXR15 and get yourself an ice bath, which hopefully won't turn your skin green.
That's it. You've got it, mate. You've got it. Mine's not going to turn my skin green because washing it out properly, taking the tub off, boarding it in wood, putting a lid on it. It'll be. Ian, watch this space over the next 3 months. I might do one of them time-lapse videos of it as I'm doing it. That'll look good, won't it?
Suspect it will be Exhibit A in the public liability insurance claim.
Exhibit A, I like that one. That's a cracker. That's a cracker. So that's me. That's what I've been doing while I've not been well. So yeah, busy bee.
You've actually done more whilst not being well than I have in full health. It's kind of embarrassing, to be fair.
You've done things. You're always up to things, but it's just that my job just takes up so much time. I really have no time to speak to people and that. At this moment in time, I'm changing job roles as well soon. So still staying in the job centre, but changing job roles.
So does that mean, Alan, that your 12 days sick will reset?
Now I haven't even checked that. I'm going to recheck that now. And does my 6 months reset? I get an extra 3 days then, don't I? To the 5 months and 27 days.
Perfect. Perfect. Right. Should we share a little bit of Tough Mudder news, which is not so great? Another race, I think Birmingham has now gone to a single day.
Yeah, they've cancelled. Is it the 9th of September, which was the Sunday?
Yeah, they cancelled this Sunday. No official word. Our suspicions would be that tickets weren't selling as well on the Sunday. It happens, but it is such an indication that we need to support races, because if we don't support races, they'll disappear.
Very much so. And I've been speaking, and I think I've said this several times, and I've been speaking to a lot of races, and everyone's saying tickets are down. I know they're down. I know we're in a crisis at this moment in time. You know, gas and electric's gone up, massively, hasn't it? We talk about this everyday life. We've all got the bills and things like that. But if you're going to book a race, book it early. Pay £2 or £3 extra for insurance. If you're unsure you're going to do it, they all offer insurance now. Book your race, get your race in early. It will ensure that one ticket, if you did it to one race, I'm sure the people do it to other races, and before you know it, we wouldn't have sellout races again, but we would have more people attending more races. It's a challenge at the moment for any race director to get people to your event, and even races that are not charging lots of money are still not getting big rewards. You talk about Farmyard Jam. Farmyard Jam's ahead of where it were last year, but we expected that with it being a new style of race, but it's still not where we would like it to be. And it's in that 100 mark. There's still tickets available, and we are only asking for 100 people. There's races out there asking for thousands and not hitting them.
And it's really hard because, say, there's no easy solution other than the people who are listening to this podcast going out, supporting a new race. You definitely practice what you preach. Last year, you attended a couple of new ones, such as the one in Lincolnshire, Alan.
Yep.
And a couple more races. I'm going to try and support some local races as soon as I find some local races to support. So I'm definitely going to go and do that. And it's also a case of just inviting your friends, perhaps people who are at the gym or at work. Just say, do you fancy doing this? It might be a laugh.
I found here, and I'm going to mention something in a second about one particular thing. Brutal event. I'll mention now. Brutal events have cancelled some races, so not Brutal Run, Brutal Events. They specialise in triathlons, duathlons, ultra runs, things like that. I've been and done one of their events. Quite a nice little niche company, and they've had to really reduce theirs, potentially go and end next year. I put a post out today that said Brutal Events finishing, and it got more comments on my post than theirs did about the events cancelling. And I'm going to say we need to be interacting with these events, even if it's a like, even if it's a comment. And I'm actually going to make a conscious effort now when I'm scrolling through Facebook to put more comments on people's, even if it's just well done, nice, fantastic, just one word comments, just to try and build interaction to get the word outside that little community. Because I have noticed that the more comments go on a post, the more people actually see it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And that's the algorithms. And it's a good point. Someone posted it. As you know, we've got a series of various WhatsApp groups, don't we, Alan? And one of them is the fitness racing media one, where we chat with some of the other podcasters who do fitness racing. And one of the people in there, I'm not going to dox the people who are in there, you could probably guess, but one of the people in there asked a comment, sorry, not asked a comment, asked a question of, I put this podcast out, this is the post I put up, and it got next to no love. And all my other posts are doing really, really well. And it was pointed out that you don't high-five a billboard. Yep. So you don't high-five. And we've noticed this with ours, haven't we, as well? So every week we will post a podcast advertisement for all of our podcasts. And those, we'll get people looking at them, but no one actually likes them. It's weird.
No. We see the thing. The people that like them, and I'm going to give a shout out in a minute to them as well. Tend to be a lot of our patrons who support us and that, and you do see their names come up quite a lot who like them and things like that, which is great. But we do need other people, don't we? We need other people to like them. Anyone, just a like, a comment, a shout out, anything like that. It's worth quite a lot. It's people don't get one comment is worth 20, 30 people seeing it.
It is, and I've noticed this with some of the races. So I'll just pull it up. Superhuman Games, which is a kind of quasi OCR slash fitness racing, isn't it? They operate in an interesting niche space, really, don't they? Because they serve both of us.
They do.
And Superhuman Games, I'll just pull up their IG. They have 5,000 followers, not an insignificant amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2 days ago, they put something on and it had 34 likes,
Yeah. And
28 likes.
with that amount of followers, they're not getting it. But then you can see a post that if you've got, so sometimes I put posts out on some of our pages, and I think we've only got 2,500 followers on some of ours, and I've put a post on, and if it gets 30 likes with 2,500 followers, we actually get nearly 1,500 to 2,000 people seeing it, which is great. But the moment you get a comment on it, one comment is worth 30, 40 people seeing it. So I'm going to make that conscious effort going forward.
I'm going to make conscious effort, particularly ones that cross my feed, which don't get a lot of love. I'll make a conscious effort to that and just pay it forward.
Yeah.
And hopefully that then bounces them to people who've never seen it. Because there are people out there who've probably thought, oh, I want to race sometime, but I don't know what race to do.
Yeah, I agree. Shall we give a shout out to our patrons while we're at it?
Let's give a shout out to the Patreons.
Okay, so here we go. Dawn, Emily Young, Louis Stevens, Kelly Spalding, Michael Walker, Craig Redmond, Justin Arney, B. Wood, and Canio Casellas-Anande. I just love saying that name. I just love that. And Canio Casellas-Anande. It just like rolls off the tongue. James Burton, Laura Haywood, Tim Crangle, Steve Mesham, John Poole, Miles Lacey, Mike Nolan, Louise Ferryman, Kevin Dent, Wendy Brothers, Bryony Keys, Ben Griffin, Daniel Weston, Charlotte Malone, Gordon Cameron, Richard Willis, Paul Ellis, Martin Gemmell, Matthew Kirk, Sophia Hanaday, Michelle Carney, and Will Chung. Thank you to each and every one of you. Whichever tier you are at, it is much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you haven't already, make sure you pop into the pub and request membership if you haven't, because the pub, it's getting more and more lively, isn't it?
It's getting very lively, the pub. I'm sorry, listeners, but I read these comments, and Ian's attempt at the Scottish accent last week got a little bit of love, didn't it, Ian?
It really did. Although I'm only just beating Braveheart, I think, for the award with Scottish accent. So I'm kind of happy about that. We also had, that pesky Will casting aspersions on your athletic efforts at High Rocks with the clearly photoshopped picture of you stepping over the line, clearly photoshopped.
Yeah, my foot never, my toes never touched the end of that line. That was clearly notified. My leg looks 33 meters long.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it. We know Will's very good with his camera and that, but yeah, it just looks wrong. So yeah, you could see Will trying to cast aspersions just because somehow we managed to beat him and Kieran with an hour delay or something like that.
Yes.
So that's that. Also, I'm not going to shout him out yet because I didn't actually check whether we could do this, but in the pub, some listeners have mentioned that they're trying fasting as well. And it'd be interesting if they'll carry on sharing how their journey's going. We mentioned last week that me and you both want to lose some weight.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it by trying to do a little bit of fasting, not the same as Matt Roberts does it because he's kind of focused. I'm just trying to eat less.
Yeah.
But and you're also trying to just lose a bit of weight.
I'm exercising. I'm still on my 60 sit-ups a day, so I'm still there. During when I had the 3 days off work, I actually reduced it a little bit to 40, but I'm still doing at least 60 a day, sometimes more because I'm sometimes doing morning and evening. But yeah, definitely going to lose weight. It's the mission now, Ian.
So by the awards, me and Alan will be able to fit in our suits, we hope.
That we bought 3 months ago when we were bigger.
We're going to look like walruses. So if you haven't already got your tickets to the awards, that'll be worth the price of admission alone.
Just to see us. Oh gosh! Oh. Talking about the awards here, we're gonna have a little bit of a. If we can fit it in, we're gonna have a bit of an auction for a few prizes. So B Wood's coming and she's looking for the wheelchair and that. We're gonna have a little bit of an auction. She's got some prizes coming. She spoke to a few people, don't know who they are, but I have said we will put like 30 minutes away for an auction, so people at the wars can get some bargains, and then we're gonna do something maybe online for the rest. If we don't get them done, but we can put 30 minutes to one side for a bit of an auction. Maybe I don't know what she's got, but maybe pick bricks for £5 or something like that could be the limit of the day because the companies are giving things away and they're not wanting nothing in return. The money is just purely going to go to Bee's wheelchair so she can do infinity.
Which is a great cause, but I'm kind of smiling at the idea of us managing to keep something down to 30 minutes.
The Swift half's 30 minutes still, isn't it?
It is if you listen to it at 0.3 speed or times 3 speed. Right, should we deal with a little bit of sad news which came over the weekend? I was watching Super Bowl, so for me, this was happening live. For you, Alan, you picked it up the next day, and that is Kelvin Kiptum. What a waste, mate!
In his prime, Ian. I mean, the guy. First of all, it came out, and I think he ran at London Marathon. He ran the fastest ever second half of any marathon in the whole world, and he absolutely blitzed it. And then he came out the following, I think it was Vienna. He went and did the world record. I'm not checking my facts here, guys. So if I've got these wrong, shout at me. But he went and broke the world record, beating Elliot Kipchoge's record. The guy was phenomenal. It got the marathon distance was at his feet. He was destined for greatness, and I mean serious greatness. We all talk about Elliot. Kelvin was going to be the next big thing. He was there. I say next big thing. He was there. He broke the world record. He's the world record holder. And then fate.
It's just so sad. And if you don't know, him and I believe his coach passed away in a road traffic accident.
That's what the news has said. That I've said. I haven't seen nothing else. You just said road traffic accident. It's not gone into great detail, but was he 26? I want to say he was 26.
He was 24, I believe.
24.
Yeah, he was only 24. And yeah, it was early Monday morning. I of course picked it up late Sunday. And yeah, it's just unbelievable. So sad. I believe, you wouldn't believe this, Alan. I think he only actually took part in 4 marathons and made such a massive impact on the sport.
Yeah, I know he'd not done many. Like I say, his legacy is there in the world record at this moment in time, but as we all know, world records are there to be broken. And he would have broke it again. His ability was there to go lower. I was talking to Jamie and Rob only a couple of weeks ago and we were saying that he's going to dip under two hours. He was the one that was going to dip under 2 hours. He got all the ability. He needed to shave a few seconds off the first half of the marathon because his second half was always faster than his first half. Taken in his prime. Not great news at all.
Not great news. And to add to the misery a little bit, a couple of newspapers who I won't name, I've just checked some headlines, are reporting a potential for foul play. 4 strangers apparently visited his home a few days before the accident. So this is a developing story. If there's any further news, we'll let you know.
Yeah. I guess in them third world countries, someone with money, and he's going to have money, you know what I mean? And maybe not millionaire status in this country, but he's going to have money, is potentially a target. And like I said, we don't know nothing, but potentially a target. I hope it isn't. I hope it is purely an accident.
Yeah, the authorities' official line at the moment is the dad of two had lost control of his car and veered off the road, hitting a tree.
Yeah.
So more to follow. And again, it's just whatever the circumstances, it's just complete tragedy. Should we talk about slightly happier news? Rory Leonard?
Rory Leonard. So people who know Tony Leonard, who imports VJ shoes into the UK, I know a lot of him know him over here. I want to speak to him personally. If you buy VJ, you speak to him personally. His son. So first of all, Tony is a great runner. Yeah. So before saying that, Tony is an absolutely super high quality runner himself, and I think on 5K, I think his record is something like 13:16 or 13:17. His son has been beaten him 13:11, making him I want to say the 11th fastest 5K runner in the UK ever. All-time records of the UK.
Sorry, can you just repeat that? That kind of stunned me.
So the 11th fastest all-time runner in the UK. So out of all the records that we've kept, 13 minutes 11 for 5K is the 11th fastest.
Wow. That's just wow.
And he's young. He's seriously young. He's got a lot of talent ahead of him. So must be in the genes. Tony, his dad ran 13:16. Rory's just in 13:11.
Wow.
Crazy.
But speaking of youngsters doing well, that's a nice segue to Spartan UK have announced their team for this year, haven't they?
Woo! Tell us some names, Ian.
Well, amongst them, and thus the reason for the segue, we've got Libby Joyce, part of Team Spartan United Kingdom.
I know. That's amazing.
We've also got Josie Lloyd.
Yeah.
Rachel Decker, Andrea Burquest, and Federica Di Carria.
The UKOCR winner of last year.
Yep, absolutely. And on the male side, we've got Connor Wickens, Jason Brunnock, Fergal Chiini, Jack Carpenter, and Luke De Benedictus.
Oh, great news that they've got all of those. I wonder what the criteria was to get Team UK in there. Did they have to apply? I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I'm not completely sure, if I'm honest. I don't know. And I'm not sure what they get. Free race cards. Based on what they've announced, it looks like they get free Cobra Kai merchandise, or maybe that's just because it's the year of the snake or something.
Is it the year of the snake this year?
It's not the year of the snake in the real world, but in Spartan world, it looks like it's the year of the snake, which, Joe, read the room. Honestly, could you not have just skipped that one? Particularly moving on to our next story about people leaving Spartan.
Oh, Ian, what is happening? Big thanks to Obstacle Racing Media for releasing this and and telling us all about it. But really, what is actually happening over there at Spartan? Because three of the most well-known people, if you had Joe at the top, two of these, Garfield Griffiths and Steve Hammond, are so well known in the community. I mean, the other one I don't really know, Gabe Stainbrook, but Garfield and Steve are well known, and even though they're based in the States, we know them over here. These are the people that are probably right underneath Joe.
Yeah, they absolutely contributed a lot. Of course, they're some of the most visible because Garfield has been a race director for a number of years. Steve was responsible for setting the courses and would be on commentary and do lots of other stuff and would appear in various videos for Spartan. So they very much were some of the most visible.
Yeah.
As for why, I have no clue, but I am concerned that maybe this is decision by spreadsheet.
As in saving cash, saving dollars?
Potentially, yeah.
It could be. It could be. As we mentioned right earlier on the beginning of the show, there's races are struggling. We all know that. Events are struggling, and that maybe I don't know what the balance sheet is for Spartan at this moment in time. across the world.
I have no clue. I presume in the UK it's doing okay because when we talk about Spartan, we also talk about Tough Mudder. I know they've had to reduce a couple of new dates, but as far as we're aware, the general ticket sales are going usual.
Yeah, going okay. You know, those are the people for me. There's a couple of races that are not mentioning any reduction in sales. You know, that's one of them. So yeah, it does seem strange, but I have noticed from a Spartan and a Tough Mudder point of view that up until about 3 months ago, it felt like that they had run out of money in terms of advertising, and I weren't seeing a lot of advertisements on social media, whether it be in reels or in just posts. They just didn't seem to be popping up. So, I mean, at the minute, I don't know about you, what you get on Facebook and that, but at the minute, all I'm seeing everywhere is sportshoes.com. Everywhere I look at the minute, I'm just seeing sportshoes.com or Amazon. They're the ones who are plowing money in, and I don't need, I don't see anyone else doing it, if that makes sense.
Well, let's do a live. Should I go on my face good and disastrous, but should I go on my Facebook and just scroll down and see what the first time I get any kind of advert? Actually, I get Conquer Fitness is my
Right?
first sponsored advert. Would you believe? Conquer Fitness is my first one. Then we have free samples, the range. Oh God, I live a boring life, don't I?
No,
What
you
else do I
don't.
have? Arena Stadium Chasers, apparently. Spartan Decker, but I follow them. Oh, Tesco. They've obviously been listening to me talking about Tesco meal deals, but they're offering me Comfort fabric conditioner, which is useless because it doesn't really go with a butty, to be fair.
No, it doesn't. No, no.
Oh, I've
How?
also got Sky as well.
Okay. Well, on mine says sportshoes.com. And I guess when I'm looking at Amazon, I sent them to all the time, didn't I? Sportshoes, Innovate. Well, Innovate's now jumping on there. Which Innovate released a new shoe, by the way. If you didn't know about that, the Trailfly Speed. Lots of update. I'll put some links on that for us, but Trailfly Speed, watch out there. Get Active Fitness Coaching. Grow Vegetables, whatever that means. Ringo Smart Ring. So why aren't I getting Tough Mudder? Because these are the things that you need. Pacer Adventure Challenger Series is the first race that I get up.
That's really interesting, isn't it? That yeah, they just don't seem to be putting money in Facebook ads anymore.
No.
And I mentioned Conquer Fitness there, Alan,
Yeah.
and we know the guys from Conquer Fitness. They actually got in touch at the start of this week, about just can we mention that their race is on? Of course, we always do that. Their race is on September 29th in Alderley Park. And I know we've got people who've listened to the show who've done it before. Get in quickly. Alan, they've only got 30 sets of tickets left.
No.
They are not a massive race. I think they cap around 150 or 200. I'm not sure how many pairs they cap at, but they've only got 30 left. And that is through obviously a little bit of Facebook advertising, a little bit of word of mouth. And yeah, if you want to go and do that race, make sure you get your ticket because they're not going to be around for long. And that's what, 7 months away? More than 7 months away?
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Is fitness racing just literally taking everyone's money?
Potentially, maybe. I'm not sure, Alan. Hey, I think at one point we were in kind of discussions, weren't we, about potential for a chord. I don't think they need to do a chord.
No, I don't think they do they? No, they definitely don't need
Or,
to do.
or if they do, maybe it'll be towards the end, after a couple of price rises to knock it down to the original.
Yeah, yeah. What's happening in High Rocks news?
Well, High Rocks news, we had the issue with the rower at the Elite 15, as you probably are aware. The rowers didn't work. It didn't end great. I'll give a quick plug. I covered the topic with Matt B. Davis on his weekly show this past week. So go and have a listen there for my thoughts. Alan, do you have any other thoughts other than, I don't know, High Rocks did the best they could do in a bad situation?
Yeah, for me, I don't. I know there were complaints, but for me, it was just I didn't. It didn't affect us.
Oh, it affected the athletes who were competing.
Yeah,
It was a screw up. I think it was caused because of a bit of technical stuff in that the rowers were connected to something that would power the, it's not powering, but it would feed back data to the live stream.
yeah,
And as a consequence, something stuffed up. I feel really, really bad for our good friend Sandy, who as we stand, his knee row was working and went on to a second row that also wasn't working. So he just thought, sod it, I'll go out for my run, and he got DQ'd. I feel really badly for him. I think it's one of them things which High Rocks probably couldn't have predicted. Equipment sometimes just goes wrong, doesn't it? It happens in OCR too.
yeah. They've got to do something about it, but I don't know what they could do.
Well, what they did do is they just gave Alex Ronkovich, who was also affected, they gave him time back. And I think that's as good as you can do in that situation.
Yeah, yeah. Pity Sandy didn't stop and try another one.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's always easy to say in hindsight, well, just keep going with the race because you never know what's going to happen. But I think there's different motivations in that. From Sandy's point of view, he'd qualified for world champs. He was probably psyched out of his race anyway at that point because of what's happening. Why race angry and possibly do yourself an injury?
Yeah,
So I can't disagree with the steps he took. On the other hand, Alex had all the motivation in the world for trying to win the race because it was in his hometown. He'd never, to the best of my knowledge, won a major in his hometown. Well, to be fair, that's completely accurate. It was only the third major, so of course he wouldn't have been able to. So why wouldn't you, irrespective of what's going on around you, you'd pull out all the stops, wouldn't you?
that is the thing you would do, wouldn't you? You are going to pull out all the stops. If I had a race in my own town, I would try my hardest to, if it was an OCR, to try and do my best at it. And, top athletes do.
Exactly. If it was the Wolf Run coming to Barnsley,
Yeah.
you would do your best to ensure the victory, even if the monkey bars collapsed around you.
They might collapse after I've been on them at this moment in time with my waiting.
But yeah, I think to just put a capper on that, people will criticize Sandy, people will ask why Alex did what they did. People react differently, and I don't think either one of them can be criticized for how they reacted. And High Rocks did the best they could do at that point in time. And speaking of making the best of bad situation, we mentioned on last week's show about Birmingham selling out very, very quickly.
We did.
And unfortunately, that meant that some volunteers didn't actually get tickets. Well, High Rocks reached out to all volunteers, and those who wanted to go to Birmingham, they've been sorting them out. So our good friend Mike Nolan and Claire Simpson, they've been sorted out, so they get to do Birmingham. So well done, High Rocks.
Awesome, mate. That's good news, that, isn't it? They've actually sorted them out. So that's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear.
You got to look after your volunteers, and they'll look after your races.
Definitely.
So, Alan, I think we've actually gone through all the notes. I think there's nothing left to discuss.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You're right. But I knew we was going to get a guest, and he has just popped in here. James Burton has come to join us in the podcast pub. James Burton!
Hello, how are we doing?
We're good, mate. We're good. How are you?
Sorry, always coming in for last orders. You know me. Well, untypical me.
How do you get past the bouncer?
Mate, the bouncer's gone home.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's that late.
How are you both doing? You good?
Well, absolutely. Well, I said I met up with Flo, but I've said that earlier on, and everyone's doing things. Ian's good. He stopped up late to watch the Super Bowl. I had to ask you, Ian, how did the Super Bowl go? Tell us who won.
Are we going to spoil it? Yeah, are we going to spoil it? I think Taylor Swift won. I think basically Taylor Swift won, and yeah, that's about it. But It was a long game, Alan. In actual time, it was 4.5 hours. That's way too long for
Wow.
anything other than a farmyard jam.
Good plug in. Thank you. Yeah, I
And
like
they
that.
and they say a 10-mile obstacle race can't be good for TV. I think
Exactly, exactly. Taylor Swift won, and Usher won as well because he was rolling back the years and he looked fantastic. It was one of the best halftime shows, and I didn't have a lot of expectations, but it was really good.
The best advert?
Oh, the best advert has got to be the NFL Sunday Ticket advert, which involved birds migrating because some of the American football team have bird names. So they had all these players flying around pretending to be birds. I liked that. I think people who don't like American football would love the Dunkin' Donuts one, which had Ben Affleck and Matt Damon pretending to be rappers. And it's a lot funnier than it sounds. So search that one out.
How much would it cost us to get them to the awards?
Get the awards. It
Ben
was,
Affleck
I
and
think,
Damon Martin and Damon, who was it?
Matt Damon, not Damon
Matt Damon,
Martin.
yeah.
Matt Damon. Yeah. I'm not sure, but Super Bowl adverts were 7 million for 30 seconds. How's our Patreon looking?
Yeah, we need a few more here. We need a few more.
Okay.
James, now I know we talked earlier, and you're excited for the awards, and you've got a bit of news for
Yes.
us, haven't you?
Yeah, well, we announced earlier in the year that you kindly allowing us to share a few awards during your awards. So we're going to have our first British Obstacle Sports Awards,
Woo!
really as a way to promote affiliated training centres and activity centres, and also our licensed events. So just really highlight that program and the events and centres that are really kind of supporting British obstacle sports. So any that are affiliated or licensed are kind of part of this. And we've got 3 awards: Training Centre Activity Centre of the Year, Ninja Event of the Year, Ninja/100 meter Event of the Year, sorry, and OCR Event of the Year. So with training centres and the Ninja 100 meter, we didn't really need to do too lot with the shortlisting because it's what's available last year. With OCR, we had kind of 70, 80 events that were licensed. So we had to kind of whittle that down to 10, which was kind of quite a difficult process. We went out for nominations, and then the OCR technical committee used that and actually mostly followed what people nominated essentially to bring our shortlist. So yeah, wanted to kind of come on. Thank you both for allowing us to kind of use your event as well and it makes sense, to kind of come together, and in a future year we might go to the Ninja Sport UK Awards, for example, with a few British Obstacle Sports Awards rather than try and do our own event. It just doesn't make any sense. So hopefully it'll add an extra bit to your awards and really kind of give an extra kind of promotion to the, as I say, the events and centres that are supporting British obstacle sports.
Definitely. I like it. I like it that we come together. And we talk about this all the time, don't we? About us all coming together to promote OCR in general. And this is just another example of us coming together to do it.
100%. And we've gone we want to do it a slightly different way in terms of the voting process. That only British obstacle sports members will be able to vote. So we're actually going to use the same system, and thanks to Towergate Insurance to help, who are sponsoring the awards and the voting system. We're using the same system we use for voting for AGMs. Right. So it's entirely anonymous. Everyone who's a member who's over 16 will get an email, and it will have their login details essentially, and that goes through to an anonymous voting process for the 3 awards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's the shortlist then? Give us some shortlist names.
Where should we start? Should we start with Ninja?
Let's go Ninja, yeah.
I've got that in front of me. So we've got Ninja. We have British Obstacle Sports 100 meter national trials, which are hosted by Ninja Warrior Gloucester. The British Ninja Championships, which are hosted by HC Fit Ninja Training, HC Fit Pro Ninja Competitions, the Ninja Warrior UK Gloucester Time Trials, the Obstacle Training Ground Ninja Competition, and then we have Tartan Warrior 100 meter and the PT Barn 100 meter. So nice spread, nice mix across the country, and yeah, tricky to pick a winner from that one.
Wow, some good ones there.
And then training centres. So this is training and activity centres. We have 5S Fitness, Fit Body Farm, HC Fit Ninja Training, Ninja Warrior UK Edinburgh, Ninja Warrior UK Gloucester, Nuclear Wild Forest, the Lions Den, Raw Fits Lions Den, Rumble Fitness, the Axis Centre, which is way up in Aberdeen, the Obstacle Gym, and the PT Barn. So
Good choice.
again, some
Good choice.
great names in there. It's tough to pick a winner for sure.
I'm really conflicted because I've trained at a number of those facilities. Yes, listener, I occasionally train. I've trained at a number of those facilities. Can I have additional votes?
One member, one vote, unfortunately.
Oh, I've just seen a loophole. How many times can I join?
Yeah. Well, there's Ian Kays.
Yeah. How many different spellings of my name is there? There is a fair amount. I can add I's, I can add E's. I reckon I at least have done variations of a name. Do you want to tell us the obstacle award then, James?
Yes. So the last one, and as I say, this was the one that actually we had nomination process and we had to whittle it right down. I'm just gonna find it. Actually, just before that, I did want to give a shout out to the OCR games at Rumble because that was nominated heavily. But as I say, this is licensed events, and actually there's a process we had to go through last year for events that kind of don't fit our standard event models. Actually, Farmyard Jam was one as well. So we actually had to go through that process last year to bring that into our rule book. So actually OCR games last year wasn't licensed, but it got lots of great nominations because it's a fantastic event. But we have 10 events, and actually these are events versus brands. So if it was just one event, it would just be the name, but it could be a particular event. So the 3K champs and Storm 3K, the British OCR champs and Spartan Race London Southeast, Europe's Toughest Mudder, Nuclear Blast and Blackout, Nuclear Rush and Challenge Cup weekend, Summer Nuts, Tartan Warrior, Total Warrior, Tough Mudder Northwest, and Winter McTuff.
Oh, wow. That's a great choice. That's going to be a tough one, that.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I do wonder whether some of the brands will split their own votes, which will allow a smaller event to take the victory, which would be really cool. Could we confirm, James, that unlike the UKOCR award, these are effectively first past the post, so whoever gets the most votes wins?
Yes, there's no kind of two, but because I think you have your voting and then you have a panel vote, and it's a mix, isn't it? Yeah, so it's literally just member vote. Obviously, we had the OCR technical committee that took the shortlist and produced the shortlist. As I say, mostly went pretty much with nominations. It was just that we had some lower ones, or we had some joint ones we had to make a decision, but pretty much with nominations. And yeah, first past the post, members decide. It'd be interesting, I guess, to see what that core membership, which direction they go for these awards.
It's going to be fascinating, isn't it, Alan?
I think it's amazing, and we're at a point as well, potentially, where McTuff is in people's minds because it's just happened, and Tartan Warrior also is in people's minds because it's just coming up.
Yeah.
And we've got Winter Nuts, although Summer Nuts is in there. I think it's going to be a very close vote across the board here. This could be one that's, I wouldn't even know what to go myself, and I've done most of them. I wouldn't even know where to go.
Don't worry, Alan. On the Sunday after the awards, I'll reveal which one I predicted.
I knew you would. I knew you'd do that, Ian. I knew you'd have it right.
I always manage to get it right. It's amazing.
It's it's going to be tough, and it'll be interesting to see. So voting opens on the 20th of February, and it'll be open for, I think, 7 to 10 days, not confirmed exactly. And then obviously the awards will be produced ahead of the 16th. So yeah, make sure your membership is valid, because that's when it will go out to all the registered members at that point. And yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone's votes. It'd be interesting to see how many votes we get as well. Obviously, AGMs and voting, we don't get a huge turnout, but it's the kind of boring stuff. But this is the exciting kind of thing that we love and why we do it. So it's interesting to see how many votes we get.
It's true, Alan. When it comes to the UKOCR awards, the interaction from community is sometimes better than some races get for your actual attendances, which is a little bit sad, but I guess it's the way it goes. People love to have an opinion on things. And again, there's how many members is there? 16?
So there's 1,800 members. I think there'll be about 1,600 that will get a vote because we have said over 16. Part of that is because where do you draw the line? And then we've got some like 4 or 5 who are members. And then also I should say we're going to use this opportunity to do a member survey during the awards. So a few questions, and that's really going to help us with some of the things that we need to do from a UK Sports Council perspective. How do we progress the sport? And also how do we learn about our membership and grow in that sense? So there'll be a bit of a survey that's included as part of it.
Wow.
That just sounds excellent, James. It really does. Is there anything else you want to cover before we look to wrap things up?
No, I think looking forward to this kind of had winter McTuff. I'm never sure if it's in the 23 season or the 24 season winter McTuff. It's so early in the year, but excited for some of the races kicking off in March. We've got the free 3K events, so do support the 3K events. We've got obviously the UKOCR 3K on the 16th, and then Tartan Warrior 3K, and then the dual 3K the week after. So that's at 3 different parts of the country. So no reason if you're interested in a bit of faster racing that you can't support one of those events and get involved. All European qualifiers as well and world qualifiers.
Where are you going to concentrate your efforts this year, James? You know, I'm putting you on the spot here. I know we haven't told you this, but you know, now we've got all the series out. You know, Scotland's probably a little bit too far for you to go, but you've got the UKOCR series, which you've done well at. You know, I mean, you've done extremely well at. And you know, next year we've got the endurance, which I know last year you dabbled a little bit in the endurance.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I've got to get. I think I mentioned maybe I've certainly said to a few people I've got a shoulder injury, so I'm trying to get that sorted. That's going to probably put me out until at least June. Right. So I'm going to miss the start of the year. So I'm hoping to do the European Championships, but that may be one of my first events. So I really think it's going to be later in the year that I'm going to focus on. World Champs in Costa Rica I'm going to go to. So that's kind of going to be my A race, I think. And then definitely Oblivion Max I want to do in September because I love the Blast and Blackout weekend. It's so much fun. So definitely want to do that one and then see from there. I've signed my wife up to Farmyard Jam though.
I know you.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's and all that.
Is she aware yet, or is she finding out?
She is aware.
Live?
I actually said it to her as a joke. I'm going to sign up to this event, 24 hours. And then I basically said I'd signed her up. And then she kept saying, I better start training. So she kind of believed me. So I just signed her up.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's great.
She is a great ultra runner, though. So she is surprisingly good. She will just run and run and run to keep the same pace. So I think she'll be pretty good at this one. Yeah. She's got a lot of detedetermination. She's put up
and that's what it takes. As you know, as you did it last year, you know, people don't understand when you get to that 12 and 13 hour mark.
Yeah.
How it proper hits you. And because we don't have hundreds of runners on course, you're running on your own sometimes, you know, in the middle of the dark, and you know, you've got no one to keep you company. I was speaking to Kevin Dent was asking me, he signed up, and he said to me, have I got any tips? And I went, yes. When you're out on every lap, just try and run with someone, because if you don't, you'll get so bored and you'll end up quitting because your mind will be playing tricks on you. You need someone every lap to talk to.
Yeah, 100%. I think I went to a bit of a dark place for about 2 or 3 laps, so I just put headphones on. I wasn't talking to anyone, just getting round. I was focused on World's Toughest Mudder last year, so I said as soon as I've got some niggles, I'm going to stop. But that was just a dark place. I was like, I've got to keep going now. But then about 14 hours, I think I was starting to get the niggles, so I stopped. But so much fun, and just the chat, and because you're not killing yourself in terms of the speed, you can really just have a bit of fun with it as well. It's really, really nice, really good community event. So looking forward to it, seeing how it plays out with the Endurance League. I think he's got some good interest for the Endurance League as well.
James, I've got a question, actually. I know we're still going to wrap it up. Did Farmyard Jam help you in some way for World's Toughest Mudder?
Yeah, definitely recommend it because it's not an event that's necessarily going to kill the body. It does have an impact. But because you're going at such a slower pace, it's a real base run. and you're forced to go slow. But you're also having that duration. So I did 14 hours, for example. So you're having that duration time on feet. So it's a good time of year in terms of if you're going to go do World's Toughest Muddy. So 100% recommend. Even if you don't go for the 24-hour, like I would really, it's one of those I always would recommend. If World's Toughest Muddy is your A race, any races before that, if you've got a major injury, you've got to tap out early or you're feeling injury. But it's an event you could, or you're going and just keep going. So yeah.
Awesome. Alan, have you got anything more to say, or should we start wrapping up?
I'm done. Let's it's not going to give anything away, but we've all got partners to get away to.
That's it.
Absolutely. And on that, I'm going to say it's goodbye from me.
So goodbye from me.
Listeners, thank you for listening once again. You followers, you take care, you stay safe, keep on running. Speak to you soon. Bye.